The videos of the Chinese kindergartners being absolutely elite at everything that they do.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are breaking down the widest trending topics, viral moments and cultural debates happening right now. If it's blowing up online, you will hear about it here. With real talk, deep dives and of course your reactions. We cover everything from social trends and political debates to internet drama and global moments that gets people talking. No proof, no filters, just straight up conversations about what is shaping the world today. So if you love staying ahead of the conversation, questioning the status quo, and seeing how people react to the biggest moments online, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss what is coming. Drop a comment below and let me know what is a topic you want to see covered. This channel is all about community and your takes are just as important as mine. Let's get into it, and always stay curious, stay critical, and let's talk about it.
The videos of the Chinese kindergartners being absolutely elite at everything that they do, they occupy 90% of my brain power right now. In kindergarten, they just hand them a basketball and they say, time to work on your handles. Look at this. We have a generation full of iPad kids, and this is what they're doing. They're just elite at everything they do. They're more advanced than probably 8th graders now in America. These are all our, look at this, look what they're doing. These are all our future bosses. This isn't like, look, they even know how to cook. This isn't like, oh, we went down the local gymnastics and these are the top of the top. No, this is just like, recess. Time to work on your cooking skills and how to be the absolute greatest. Look at this. They just give them basketballs. I need to know more, and I'm going to find out more. I know a lot about Japanese baseball culture. It's crazy, but I need to know more. This is unbelievable. Can you imagine trying this in American public school? I'm serious. Can you imagine it? One of the kids would start crying. The other be like, why is my basketball not inflated like the other basketball? Then the other one would call their parents. We're doomed. We're doomed.
You know why this is like, okay, that video was really good. Those kids, amazing, top tier. But you want to know why this is? And this is coming from a mom of 4. They're 10, 9, 8, and 4 right now. Our country focuses so much on academics and the brains that we don't have them outside working on their bodies. Like, the most my kids get is PE in school for like a semester or something like that, and then recess. We don't actually teach them or train them on anything, and how are they supposed to learn if we're not teaching them? Now, it's not completely the school's fault. I probably could do it, except I'm so tired from working all the time, because that's what we have to do in this country to survive and to be able to raise 4 kids, is work all the time. So I don't have the time to teach them how to do that. I don't even know how to do all that. See, it's not so much the iPads and the technology that's the problem. It's the fact that in our country, we don't know those skills. We're not taught those skills. And it's not something that you can just be expected to know. Do I wish my kids knew all that cool jumping around stuff and to be that synchronized and everything with other kids? Yeah, sure, that's pretty cool. But at the same time, Not to mention the fact that the curriculum in other countries is completely different, and the expectations for children in other countries is completely different. Not saying our kids are lacking or behind or anything like that, but at the same time, they're raised different. Everybody raises their kids different. It's what happens. Also, our kids are taught to be free thinkers, to, have their own thoughts, their own wants. They play different. Those kids, it looks very unison. I don't know if their own individual thoughts are actually encouraged. Not saying that either way is bad. Not saying either country is bad for their kids. They're just kids. But that video was really cool.
Those videos do not show the absurd level of physical and mental abuse that those kids are going through. They don't show that. They show only the pretty part. So they might look like the superior, but mentally, they're wrecked. They're wrecked mentally and emotionally. Just so those gardens and the CCP could make propaganda videos for you to admire. That's it? Nothing else? So.
Well, when it comes to these videos, it's what you don't see that you should look for. There's no individuals in these. There's just the collective. That is communism. These presentations are very interesting. Kids are shown on an individual basis how to cook. They put the oil on the pan and then they fry up the bread. And it looks like these kids are given these skills at a young age in order for them to grow up to be healthy, adaptive adults. But adaptive in what way? It's what's missing in their education. Is that kid going to be a philosophy major? Is that kid going to grow up to be an artist? Unlikely. It is a stark base existence in communism because everything is mapped out. There's no expectation. You just fill a void. And that's what they're prepping people for here. That's why everybody's got this physical prowess over there. Mao made sure of that. And that's what they teach in the schools. So it's not what you see, it's what you're missing. That's why freedom of speech and expression and everything else over here is so absolutely valuable. Try it over there. You'll see one person in a million, like Tiananmen Square type stuff, where one guy stands in front of a tank, because the rest are conditioned. North Korea is absolutely terrible for that. But they're also a closed society. This is that with free markets or open markets. China's not, well, China has a lesson to teach, certainly, on what to do and certainly what not to do. And we should be afraid because they do such things with such precision.
Well, I personally think that our kindergartners would be better off if they handed them blank paper with maybe crayons at the beginning of the year, maybe colored pencils about the middle of the year, and maybe a marker at the end, or give them some Play-Doh and let them form things, have the word, what the picture, the item is, let them form it. I mean, their brains and their hands need to be working together at that age. I mean, this is obvious. And I'm glad my 10 and 14-year-old can cook, and my children have always raised to cook and take care of themselves. And some of that's home training also, because them babies have been wrapped around their mama and daddy's waist, or their mama's waist, watching everything she's done ever since they was born. You seen them snuggly things?
I'm not saying this video is not real and that there aren't Chinese kids like that. And I actually don't necessarily know anything about China, but I teach here in Korea. And I actually literally had a kind of talk with one of my classes today about why does it take you guys so long to follow simple instructions? Like, I actually had to record their class or something anyway. So I was like, why don't I just show it to them? Because, you know, it's always surprising when you see yourself, right? And I'm like, do you see this? Do you see this section, kids, where, you know, I very clearly divided you into pairs, and you were only to just look at what pair you're supposed to be with and then change your seats accordingly. But do you see how long it took? Do you see you all getting up? Do you see all these people moving over here? Do you see all these people arguing? Do you see how something that took 10 seconds took almost 3 minutes with proof on the video? Look, I'm sure there are kids in Korea, like I've seen them too, like, you know, some boarding school, yada yada, like amazing kids, but this is my 4th year teaching in Korea. None of my kids are nothing like that video. And I'm thinking that probably means not every kid in China is exactly like that video. Okay. Actually, I'm in this program where I have to view other kids' classes. And I actually viewed some Chinese classes, which they're older, and actually it wasn't any bad. It was actually, they seemed like good students. There was nothing like out of the ordinary, but they seemed like typical high schoolers, what I saw, kind of just like putting their heads on the desk and clearly didn't want to be there. Like I said, nothing bad, but nothing like they were like some kind of like, you know, super genius, super disciplined, you know, whatever. And then at the end of the day, when all these kids become adults, are you just saying, sorry, I mean Pepito because Pepito Day. I don't understand. Are you saying that American adults are going to be like this behind like Chinese adults or whatever adults? Like they're just going to rule the world and Americans are just going to be so dumb. They can't, you know, there would no way be able to compete. No, right? Just like, you know, I don't know. Just these videos, come on.
It's like a tiny version of Gen X. We were cooking by kindergarten. Shit, half of us were washing our clothes and walking our little sisters to preschool. Holy shit, I'm scared of those kids. Because we were scary. Those kids right there, they got all the makings of a Gen X 2.0. Okay, that's enough for me this morning.
It's wild how much this video has sparked a conversation about education, discipline, and cultural differences. The guy watching this Chinese kindergarten is just blown away by their skills, saying they are already outperforming American 8th graders in things like basketball, cooking, and even gymnastics. And honestly, it's not hard to see why he's reacting this way. When you watch those kids, they move with purpose, discipline, and coordination that looks way beyond their age. It makes you wonder what is going on over there that is making such a difference, and what does it say about how kids are being raised in different parts of the world. One big thing people are questioning out is how structured early childhood education in countries like China. From a young age, kids are taught to develop discipline and focus, not just through academics but in physical and practical skills too. This isn't just about some kids playing basketball at recess. This is part of their overall development. The expectation is that learning doesn't stop in the classroom, it extends to everything they do. That is a stark contrast to what you see in a lot of Western schools, where recess is more about free play and less about skill building. Now, of course, some people are looking at this and saying, well, this is too intense, let kids be kids, and that is a valid point. A lot of Western education models emphasizes creativity, play, and emotional intelligence over strict discipline and performance-based learning at early age. There is an argument to be made that childhood should be about exploration, curiosity, and fun rather than rigorous training. But at the same time, this video raises a bigger question. Are we doing kids a disservice by not pushing them to develop skills early? Let's talk about the iPad kid generation that he mentioned. It's no secret that a lot of kids today spend more time glued to screen than ever before. Whether it's YouTube, TikTok, or mobile games, screens have become a huge part of childhood. And while there are definitely educational benefits to technology, there's also downside. The more time kids spend massively consuming content, the less time they spend actively developing skills, whether there is sports, hands-on activities, or even basic problem solving. This is why a lot of people watching this viral clip are feeling that wake-up call like, wait, is this why we are falling behind? And it's not just about individual kids, it's about the larger picture. If you compare academic performance, international rankings shows that countries like China, Japan, and South Korea consistently outperform the US in subjects like maths and science. But beyond academics, we are also seeing a difference in work ethic, discipline, and even resilience. Think about it. If you train kids from a young age to see challenges as opportunities to improve rather than obstacles to avoid, you are shaping their mindset for life. That is a huge cultural difference. Then there is the part where he says, can you imagine trying this in American public school? One kid will start crying, another will complain that their basket ball isn't as inflated as the others, and another will call their parents. Now that might sound like an exaggeration, but it's really. Over the past couple of decades, there has been a noticeable shift in parenting styles and educational approaches in West. Concepts like helicopter parenting and overprotection have made it so that kids are less exposed to discomfort and struggle. While that comes from a place of love and wanting to protect children, it sometimes backfires by making kids less resilient. A lot of teachers have spoken out about how discipline in schools has become more difficult because parents are likely to challenge authorities rather than support teachers. If a child is struggling or acting out, some parents are quick to blame the school rather than encouraging their child to walk through the problem. That is a big difference from cultural why discipline is seen as a necessary part of growth. So when you see these Chinese kids excelling in structured activities at such a young age, it's not just about their personal talent, it's about an entire system that values discipline, reputation, and mastering. Another interesting point is when he says these are all our future bosses. Now that hits on something deeper. Economic competition. We are living in a globalized world, and whether we like it or not, the workforce is becoming more competitive. The people who succeed in the future won't just be the ones who had a fun, carefree childhood. They will be the ones who developed real skills early and kept shaping them. And that is what's scary for a lot of people watching this clip. They see these kids working hard for such a young age and realize that this is the generation that will be competing with today's kids when they grow up. It also makes you wonder what would happen if the US tried to implement something similar. Could we see American kindergarten focusing more on skill building, discipline, and structured physical activities, or is that just not realistic given the cultural attitude toward childhood and education? Because let's be real, if a school in the US tried to make reaccess into a structural skill development period, there would probably be backlash from parents who feel that it's too rigid or too demanding. The idea of pushing kids harder is something that gets a lot of pushback in Western education, where the focus tends to be more on emotion, well-being, and personal expression. At the same time, there is also the argument that too much structure can lead to burnout. In places like China and South Korea, students face immense pressure to perform from a young age, which can lead to stress and mental health issues. There is even a term in South Korea, Hell Joseon, which describes how intense and competitive life can be, stating from childhood. That is something worth considering. While discipline and hard work are great, is there a balance that needs to be found? The viral video is sparking all of this discussion because it's touching on something that a lot of people have already been thinking about: how different the education and upbringing of kids are around the world, and what that means for future. The truth is, there is no one-size-fits-all answer. There are pros and cons to every approach, but one thing's for sure: watching those kids perform at such a high level definitely makes you reflect on what is possible when you set high expectations early on. So what do you think? Are American kids falling behind because of lack of discipline and structured learning? Or is this just an extreme example that doesn't reflect the full picture? Let me know in the comments, because this is one of those debates that is just getting started. Thank you for watching, and let's continue this conversation in the comments below. Let us share our thoughts and perspective with one another. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on this story and more. I will see you in the next video.